Okay, so you're heading to France. That's amazing. A huge adventure is waiting for you. But let's be honest. Amidst all the excitement, there's usually this one big question looming. How in the world do I actually make friends? Well, let's get into it, because this is a challenge with a seriously fantastic reward.
And look, it's a totally valid worry. You might be thinking about feeling isolated or wondering what you'll do on the weekends. I promise you, you are not the only one who feels this way. But the great news is there is a clear path to building an awesome social life there.
To get it, you first have to understand what I call the French friendship paradox. So here's the challenge. Those first interactions can feel a little, well, distant, kind of formal. But the reward for pushing through that is absolutely massive. French friendships, once they're formed, are incredibly deep, fiercely loyal, and seriously, they often last for a lifetime. It's a high-stakes game, for sure, but the payoff is huge. So if we're going to win that game, we have to understand the playing field, right? Before we jump into the how-to, let's spend a minute on the why. Why can it feel a bit like you're hitting a wall at the beginning? It really comes down to three main hurdles. First, you've got what I like to call the fortress friendship circle. You know, a lot of French people have these super tight-knit groups of friends from childhood, and yeah, those can be tough to break into. Second, there's that initial reserved vibe. French culture really values privacy, which can sometimes come across as being cold or distant. And finally, the big one, the language barrier. And this quote just nails it. This is the heart of the matter. Sure, you can get by with English, but real social integration. You know, the inside jokes, the subtle conversations, the actual bonding, all of that happens in French. Now, that's not meant to discourage you. It's the opposite. This is your secret weapon. Knowing this gives you the key that unlocks absolutely everything else.
All right, enough about the challenges. Let's get to the good stuff, the solutions. We're going to build you what I'm calling a strategic friendship toolkit. These are proven, real-world strategies to help you build your social circle from scratch.
Seriously, if you remember only one single thing from this whole explainer, please make it this. Joining a student club, they call them associations, is your golden ticket. This is, hands down, the single most effective way to make French friends, period. So why does this work so well? Well, first, you're instantly connected by a shared passion, whether that's hiking, drama, chess, whatever. This creates a really low-pressure situation where the activity is the focus, not some kind of forced conversation. And, crucially, it guarantees repeated contact, which, is the secret sauce for any friendship to grow. So, your first mission, should you choose to accept it, find the Forum des Associations at the beginning of the year and sign up. Okay, your next tool is right there in the classroom. This is a supernatural progression. Start small. In your TD, which is your small tutorial class, just ask a classmate a simple question about the lecture. From there, it's an easy step to suggest forming a groupe de travail, a study group for the next exam. Trust me, bonding over a tough class is a surprisingly powerful thing. Next up in the toolkit, language tandems. This is just a brilliant setup. It starts off as a simple exchange, right? You help them with your language, they help you with French. But what happens so often is that these sort of formal meetings turn into just casual coffee chats, and then boom, a real friendship. It's a total win-win.
All right, let's surround this out with a few more winning moves. Living in a co-location, a shared apartment, is basically a built-in social network. But you gotta be proactive. Offer to cook dinner one night, suggest a movie, and this is critical. Say yes to invitations, especially when you hear that magic word, apéro. Which brings us perfectly to our next section. Because making friends isn't just about what you do, it's about understanding the unwritten rules of the game. It's time to master the French social code. Let's start with that all-important ritual, l'apéro. This is huge. It is the absolute cornerstone of French social life. It's so much more than just a pre-dinner drink. It's the main way people socialize. It's casual, it's relaxed, it can go on for hours. Getting invited to an apéro, that's a big sign that you're in. Now, basic politeness is just non-negotiable. Always say bonjour when you walk into a store and au revoir when you leave. But the biggest rule you have to master is the difference between vous and tu. And here is the golden rule. Always start with the formal vous with anyone you don't know. Just wait for them to say on peut se tutoyer, which is the signal to switch to the informal tu. Getting this right shows a ton of cultural respect. All right, quick fire round. Let's run through a little cheat sheet of cultural do's and don'ts. Do be the one to initiate plans. Don't just wait around to be invited. Don't fall into the comfy trap of only hanging out with other international students. Do make a real effort with French, even if you make mistakes. They'll appreciate it. And don't get offended if a conversation turns into a passionate debate. It's usually a sign of engagement, not anger.
Okay, I know that's a lot of information, so let's pull it all together into a concrete plan. This section is your step-by-step pathway for your first semester, designed to make this whole process feel way less overwhelming and totally manageable.
Let's walk through this together. Weeks 1 and 2, that's just survival mode. Focus on getting your paperwork done and just smile and say bonjour in class. Then you shift into action mode. Go join those clubs. By month 2, you're engaging, going to meetings, starting that study group. Then by month 3, things are happening. You get invited to an apéro, or hey, maybe you even host one. And by the end of the semester, you've done it. You have a solid circle of acquaintances and maybe 1 or 2 really genuine friends. See, it's a gradual process, but it's a clear one.
So, as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought. This is a mindset that will be your most valuable tool for this whole journey. And it's simply this. Making friends in France is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes patience. It takes persistence. It's not going to happen overnight. And you know what? That's completely okay. But I promise you, the effort you put in will be rewarded tenfold with some of the most meaningful connections of your life. So here you are, standing at the beginning of this incredible experience. You have the toolkit, you know the rules of the game. Your adventure is literally about to begin. The only question left is, what's your first move going to be?